Hello, race fans, and welcome once again to the Apex This iRacing League. We're here with the Supercar and RUF cars, and they're just rolling off. We're sorry we're a little late here, but we got here just before the race started, and they're going around the track now with the two pace cars. And what we're going to do is we're going to run down the starting grid here very quickly. We got Corey Mitchell on the pole. Tommy Reagan second, Randy Mathis third, Dustin Burkhalter fourth, Doug Doucette fifth, Troy Banks sixth, Bjorn Bench is seventh, Jaron Haslam eighth, Carlos Lopez ninth, Brandon Piper 10th, and 11th we have Eric Elkins, 12th Steve Kubay, 13th. We're going green. That's we'll have to do that later, folks. They're racing here at Le Mans. Corey Mitchell taking them down onto that first section. They were having some problem with these chicanes earlier in the week, and let's see how the guys handle them tonight. So far, he's opened up a half-second lead there. Looking back at the RUF cars there, Jaron Haslam, and he's opened up almost, well, it's over a second lead now from Carlos Lopez. Lopez, he's got a lot of company there. Brandon Piper is right on his tail. They're starting to stretch out a bit. And up the front, all the supercars, they're right together as well. Tommy Reagan, they're all trying to catch Mitchell there. Reagan's got Dustin Burkhalter right on his tail. Burkhalter, he's being followed closely by Randy Mathis. Trying to see if he can draft up there and make a pass, but not this time. Everybody's getting through those S's pretty good at the moment. Further back, there's Randy Mathis. Oh, and Burkhalter is off a little bit. Had to lock him up just a little bit. Keep going there. He managed to keep it on track, though. He's followed by Troy Banks. He's the last supercar. And they're bunching up in those S's. And all the while, this is all still lap one. That's amazing, though, how large this track is. Didn't get a chance to do the overview on it. Looking back at the RUF cars, there's Brandon Piper. He's running third in class. Fairly almost to equal distance. Who was that? That was Steve Kubay in front of him. Got a little bit of dirt there. And we're just now on lap 2. Corey Mitchell, he continues to lead. He's still followed by Tommy Reagan there, and Reagan's trying to catch him. Now he's less than half a second away, but still not nearly close enough to really try to make any kind of a pass whatsoever. See what kind of speeds he's getting on this long straight. Now this is a pretty darn long straight right here. Getting pretty close to 200 miles an hour. What about 191, I think it was, before he had to check it down. Oh, and they're lighting those tires up coming out of those S's, boy. They're really getting after it. Looks like the top 3 there, and that's Randy Mathis in third. Now they've definitely broken away from Dustin Burkhalter and the rest of the supercars. That would be Burkhalter, Doucette, and Banks. You can see the gap right there. The leader, he's broken away from the second and third place car, but then also they've broken away from the rest of the field. And there's Dustin Burkhalter back there. You get an idea of just how big the truck is. And uh-oh, we saw, did he have a problem? No, that was just the S's he's going through there. There's Doug Doucette trying to hunt down Troy Banks there. Oh, wow, and that was the 8 of Troy Banks. Got it wrong coming out of that turn there. Oh, careful now. Come the rough cars there. He's going to have a lot of company here in a minute. Trying to get up to speed. He gets up to speed pretty good there. That's Brandon Piper right behind him. Let's see what kind of speeds he's into S's now, so I was going to track his speed there to see what he's doing, but he was also in a supercar. We're going to look at one of the rough cars here when they get on that long straightaway at the back again, see what kind of speeds they get up to. On paper, they say that the supercar has more horsepower and should be a little quicker in a straight line than the rough cars, but now we will see. This isn't one of the longest sections of the track. Boy, and they're side by side there. And Piper, he manages to go on by. He's currently running a second in class. That is a real twisty section, and they're coming up to the start-finish line here, right there. And after another series of S's right here, then they'll be going down that long back stretch, and we're going to check his straight line speed here, see what kind of speed he's getting. If he can get through these S's okay. We saw a supercar hit, I believe it was like 191. Very flat through here, no banking to help the cars at all. If you hit those rumble strips wrong, you're going for a ride. And here he goes down, nope, got one more little turn here. Okay, I think he's about to hit that straight. Let's see what kind of speeds he can generate here. Remember we said that the Supercar is just about hitting 191. He's at 170. He's got a ways to go. We might check one of the rough cars that's a little further up, and he may have a different setup. I think they are open setup here, so he may be running a little bit more downforce than some of the other guys. Let's look at Jaron Haslam, because he's usually, now he's 140. You can see his speed there. About hitting 161. I'm gonna check those Supercars again, because maybe I looked at it wrong. I thought it said 191. It might have been 161. We'll check it next time they go down that long straight there. Haslam, he continues to lead the rough division. 5 seconds ahead of Piper. He's really checked out from the rest of the rough cars. Him and Piper are, they've got banks between them and the rest of the rough cars. Eric Elkins, he's third in their class, and he's behind Banks. We have a few retirements already. Looks like Andrew Rasmussen, Bjorn Benches, and Ray Kreiderman. They maybe they didn't even start the race. I'm not sure. I didn't. I do see some reports here of some crashes. We started a little late. But it didn't show Bjorn Banks. No reports of him. Bjorn Benches, that is, no reports of him crashing. So he might have had some technical issues. Could not join the race server. Meanwhile, up the front, it's getting a little tighter. Reagan and Mathis are catching up with Mitchell. This is a 40-minute event, timed event, and they're just 11 minutes into it. This could get interesting, because we've seen Corey Mitchell, have great starts this season and pretty much run away from the field. But he's not quite running away today. There's a lot of opportunities for the guys behind if they can stay in that draft. And if they have a similar setup as far as downforce is concerned, they may be able to hang with him. And boy, they were really whipping it through those S's. Almost a drag race now. They're not quite into a real straight section yet. They have a few more S's that they have to do. Reagan, he's really trying to close in there. Mitchell, he's just tossing that car into those turns. Oh, Reagan has to gather it up, and there goes did Burkhalter? Okay, no, Mathis did get past him. Randy Mathis is now in second position. Even he's a little squirrely, and those two were kind of, had their little mix-up right there, and that's opened the door for Mitchell a bit, because he was about to come under some serious pressure. Now he's got over a second and a half gap from them. Obviously, probably broke the draft. They're going to have to take a little bit more time, see if they can catch him. There's Burkhalter. He's all by himself. Doug Doucette is behind him, but he's over 9 seconds behind. Looking back at the rough cars, you just saw Doucette go out of the picture. That's Jaron Haslam. He's catching that's one of the last supercars. The only other supercar on the track is Troy Banks, and he's a couple of cars behind Haslam. Okay, let's look at his speed. He's 167. And Doug Doucette in the supercar, yep, he's 180. he got to 180 and he got to about 165. I think the supercars might be winning the battle. Doucette went wide. They got the straight line speed, but they got to have that downforce for those turns. Those S's, all those groups of S's, you know, the left and right turns on the track, they're pretty wicked here at Le Mans. Let's check back up the front real quick. Yeah, the gaps are, well, Mathis is less than a second now. Mitchell still has a somewhat comfortable lead, but not by much. His Achilles heel may be going through these S's, because look at how Mathis is caught up to him now. Well, this is definitely a drag race here. Is he going to get a chance to draft past him? He's pulling up close behind him. I think they're about to hit some S's here. He's not going to be able to do it there. Make sure he keeps the car on the track. Tap the brakes there just a little bit. He's definitely in the draft of Corey Mitchell now. If he can hang with him through this series of left and right turns here, and there's several of them, they're getting ready to come down to the start-finish line after they go around this right-hand turn here. First a left, then a right. Boy, it's crazy how it just snakes through there. And there we go. Now we're on lap 5. And even more S's to deal with before we get to that long back stretch. Got to report Kent Kruger crashed. Let's look real quick and see if we can see what happened to him. There's Kruger, one of the RUF cars. Came flying down in there, and the back end kind of broke away. Whoa, hard into the wall. Boy, that was a hard hit there. I'm not sure. They may not have damage on in this series, because otherwise I would think that car would have been tore up. I'm going to take it back live here. He's running 7th. He's 7th in class and P13 overall. Let's look back up the front here. This is a big drag race right here, boy. Mitchell and Mathis. Mathis is hounding Corey Mitchell, boy, I tell you. And now they're on one of these long straights. He might get a chance to get a good draft. Let's see if he can slingshot past. Is he going to try to make the move? All right, Mitchell's starting to pull away again. Not sure why. I guess he felt he wanted to back off. The timing wasn't right. He probably figured, well, yeah, I can draft up to him, but that pull has to start a little sooner on that straightaway, so have enough room to get by and get over and set up for that turn that they just went through. Now this straightaway isn't nearly as long. And here comes their next fast curve right here. And Tommy Reagan, he's still back there. He killed the cone there just now. He's trying to keep pace with the two front runners. Mitchell, he's the only, he's got that Holden Commodore out there. The rest of them are Ford Mustangs, the supercars. And I tell you, that Commodore has been lightning quick. snaking his way through those turns there. Oh, got a little bit of wheel spin there. And they're all just about equally spaced out now. Mitchell, he's doing a good job of maintaining good car control, not overdriving the car. Sometimes a guy, he'll be in front and he'll get his rearview mirrors full of a car and put pressure on him, and the guy can pressure the guy in front into making a mistake. But if you've got a real cool head and maintain a smooth, steady pace, just the way he just went through there, so smooth through those left and right S's right there, and that'll make him a tough nut to crack for sure. Math is trying all he can to try to figure a way around Corey Mitchell. There's Kent Kruger. He's in the pits, and it looks like he just put the car behind the wall, so that's our 4th retirement of the evening. Let's go back to the rough cars here. There's Darren Haslam. He's leading the rough division. The car directly behind him is the 65 Doug Doucette, but that's a supercar. Now you can see a few cars there in front there. There was Burkhalter. And Haslam isn't exactly chasing down Burkhalter super quick either. 33 is getting with the program here. I think that the supercars might have a bit of a chance to fight off the rough cars at a track like this where there's such long straights. Anything that they may lose in the S's, in the real twisty sections, seems like they can pretty much hold their own in the high-speed areas. Let's check back up the front. And Matthews, he continues to hound Corey Mitchell. Now only a couple of tenths of a second behind. Regan is he's making his way in there too. He's under a second from the leader as well. It looks like he lost a little bit of space there coming out of those S's from the two front runners. In fact, he lost quite a bit. He was like 0.6 from Mathis. Now he's over a second and a half. And now we have reports Lincoln Russell heading off. Let's take a look real quick to see what happened to him. Here's Russell in one of the rough cars, and got a little twisted up there a little bit, and felt the car breaking away and locked her down, and it wasn't too bad of a spin, and he was able to continue. Let's bring it back live and see where he's at. He's currently running in 6th. He's 6th in class, 12th overall. And boy, he's 13 seconds behind Steve Kubay. Nobody's behind him, so he's kind of just making time now, trying to get to the end of this race. You know, we're over the halfway point, 24 minutes in of a 40-minute event. Let's go back up the front here to see what's happening. Mitchell starting to get a little bit more breathing room from Mathis. And Mathis himself, they're about equally separated now, all three of them, Mathis and Tommy Reagan. He's hanging in there. He can't really seem to mount any kind of an attack just yet, unless he's trying to bide his time and just, you know, hanging back for the time being, which very well could be the case, trying not to use up those tires. And they also have a, you know, each time you go off the road, it's considered an incident. You get an incident point for it. Oh, Reagan gets a little crossed up there, and that's going to cost him dearly. Getting close to a 2-second gap now from Mathis. And he was still on track, and they got to keep those cars on track as much as they can, because every time that you go off the track, then you get an incident point, and they only have, you know, looking at the race information, they only have 19 incidences before they get a pit road penalty. And as you can see, damage is off, because I think we saw, who was it, Kent Kruger, I believe, go hard into the wall, and the car looked fine. And of course, they run open setups, and it's not that bad here today. 84 degrees, 8-mile-an-hour winds. That's a little stiff, and track temperature is 98, so that's probably not helping anything. A little further back in the field, there's Doucette. He's got a comfortable gap between him and Eric Elkins. Jaron Haslam, though, is 17 seconds down the road. There's Elkins, and he's got a pretty good gap between him and Lopez. Carlos Lopez is running third in class, 9th overall, and he's got a nice battle going on with Brandon Piper. He's just taking a position. Actually, Piper, well, oh boy, that wasn't going to work. No way the two of them were going to go into those S's side by side. Carlos Lopez comes out on top on that one. Brandon Piper had to concede that position. Boy, that was a good battle down to that turn. Right along with Brandon Piper. See if he can find a passing opportunity here. I mean, both these guys this is a race for position overall and for class position. They're both running 8th and 9th overall, and they're battling for the third position in their class. Piper's 4th, Lopez 3rd. See, there's Troy. Oh, Troy Banks into the wall. Okay. Let's roll that back just a little bit, see if we can see what happened to him. Here he's coming down. Oh, and he just got in there in the back end, broke away from him a little bit. He was able to get quickly back on track, though, and get going. And I tell you, it depends on the car. Sometimes, you know, now Banks, he does struggle a little bit in this series. But boy, I tell you, in some of the other divisions, if you catch him on a good night, he's gonna put it on you for sure. Very fast driver. That's what I like about this league. They run 3 different nights, and they run different pairs of cars, and a lot of the guys are in each series, and so they have to deal with different cars. And some cars probably suit guy's driving style more than other cars. And Corey Mitchell, he's pretty good in just about anything you put him in now. And I could say that about other guys too. Boy, he's opened up a healthy lead now over Mathis. Somewhere along the way, Randy, Randy Mathis, he might have got a little loose somewhere and had a little bobble. We've seen him have some bobbles in those S's. Trying desperately to keep up with the 14 car. And you're just seeing Tommy Reagan back there with Dustin Burkhalter. Burkhalter's caught Reagan. So Reagan, he's about to get a little bit of pressure from both the Supercar and the RUF car behind him, because that's the RUF car of Jaron Haslam, the class leader. And we're 8 laps into this event, and that's the first RUF car to even get up there into the just out right now. He's still outside of the no, he is 5th overall. So yeah, that's that's the first RUF car to even catch most of the front running supercars. Supercars definitely holding their own today here at Le Mans. Reagan, he's managed to pull out a pretty good gap there from Burkhalter. Burkhalter not under a whole lot of pressure. Here's one of those straights where they can get up to some speed there, and you see how at first Haslam closed in on him there a little bit, but now he's just slowly losing pace with the supercar. You get these supercars in a straight line, and they're really tough to get past. Oh, Burkhalter, boy, he got a little wild coming out of that turn. I think his horsepower might save him, though. Fortunately, he's got a fairly long straight there to let that Ford Mustang giddy up on down the road. Haslam couldn't really take advantage of that little bobble there by Burkhalter. They're continuing to battle it out. Let's take a look back up the front here. Corey Mitchell, yeah, he's starting to open it up now. He's over 2 seconds now from Randy Mathis. And he's well clear of Tommy Reagan, 11 and a half seconds from the 3rd place car. So absolutely no pressure there whatsoever. But he's really lost touch with the leader. You see them really spaced out there now. Well, there's Reagan. He doesn't have any problems behind him. And Burkhalter, he's running pretty free and clear, followed by Jaron Haslam, and that's a blue car there. Next we have Doug Doucette. Can't see him. The grandstands are blocking him. There he is, right there. He's 3 seconds ahead of Eric Elkins. There's Elkins in that blue and yellow machine. He's followed by Carlos Lopez and a few other cars behind him. That's Lopez. There's Lincoln Russell in the green car. Behind them is Steve Coubet. And then Troy Banks. Troy Banks has retired. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our 5th retirement. Surprised to see Banks go out there. Brandon Piper, he's in the pits. Don't know if he's planning on getting back out or not. So right now that's leaving 10 cars, looks like 10 cars on the track. Mitchell continuing to wheel that Holden Commodore around the track very well. Tommy Reagan trying to eat into that lead a little bit. Now it's just a hair under a second and a half. We've seen him catch up a little bit in the slow sections here. Now he's down to 1.2 seconds. Let's look at their lap times here. Now Mitchell, he was quicker on laps 4 and 6. I'm sorry, Mathis was quicker on laps 4 and 6, and Mitchell got him beat the rest of the laps there. 3 out of 5 laps are recorded right there. Mitchell has had the advantage. Now you can see he's really closed up again. Boy, less than a second, almost half a second now. We're now at 36 minutes. We're only less than 4 minutes to go in this event. So he's seriously running out of time. Let's look a little further back in the field. There's Kube. He's still spaced out pretty good. And there's Lincoln Russell. He's behind now. He's only about 2 seconds behind Kube now. It's Carlos Lopez. He's a little further down the track from both of them. Comfortably in 3rd in his class. 8th overall. And he's 10 seconds behind Eric Elkins. Elkins, he's free and clear. He's 10. Doucette's 10 seconds ahead. Lopez 10 seconds behind. There's Doug Doucette. He's 6th place overall, 5th in class. The rest of pretty much the rest of the field is pretty spread out. The most of the battle is pretty much up the front here with these two. Mathis doing his best to hang in there. We're over 37 minutes of a 40-minute event. Let's look at their best times. And Randy Mathis actually has the fastest lap of the race with that 4 minutes 3.482 seconds. That's crazy when you think about that. It takes 4 minutes to do 1 lap. So this very well could be the final lap here, folks. We're just over 38 minutes. And you can see on the track map, they're right back there on the back side of the track. They've got to go all the way down the end and come all the way up around. This is probably the final lap. I think time's going to expire before they get back. So if Mathis is going to do anything, this is the lap he's going to have to do it on. And little bobble there. Not that he hasn't been trying all race long, but Mitchell has just been a little too strong. He's been close. He's had a couple of opportunities. Mitchell hasn't made too many mistakes. He might have had maybe 1 or 2 of that I saw. Speed and consistency are hard to beat. Now I'm wondering, Mathis always seems to get to within a couple of tenths, but just can't get enough of a run to get by Mitchell. And I don't know if it affects these cars like it would, like say an open wheel car, but sometimes when you really get close up on a guy, sure, you can draft. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You can draft up to him, but then when you get up there, there's a little bobble there by Mathis, still maintaining about a half a second, and it'll take air off the front of the car, and the car will wash out a little bit, so you get a little bit of understeer going on, and so what was helping you ends up hurting you in some situations. And we're over 40 minutes, so I'm expecting to see the checkered flags out this time. And the rest of the field is on the same side of the course. Nobody really got a lap down that was able to continue to run. And Mitchell, he's making his way down to the start-finish line. Corey Mitchell, he's going to be your winner here at Le Mans. They usually line up for a photo at the finish line. I don't know why everybody zoomed on by there, but they're probably going to get together at some point and line up for their photo. Corey Mitchell led from flag to flag. I believe he was on the pole and didn't get a chance to really look at the practice times and stuff. Matter of fact, they're gonna be coming around for a little while here, waiting for the rest of the field to come around. We can actually take a look at those practice times just for our curiosity here. And Darren Haslam, he was actually the fastest. We'll go ahead. Looks like we've got the race results here. We're going to go ahead and bring up those race results. Our software is acting a little weird tonight. Let's see if we can find this. That's the Supercars. We're not. Let's go, but look at overall here. See if we can bring it up here. Now that's interesting. I don't know why it's saying Randy Mathis won. Now, Tommy Reagan did. I thought Corey Mitchell won the race because I don't understand why that's showing there, but it's showing Randy Mathis as your winner. Interesting. Now, could it be that he stopped at the wrong? There may be some other start-finish lines back there, but this is what we're showing as your results, race results here. Randy Mathis first, Tommy Reagan second, Corey Mitchell third, Jaron Haslam fourth place, Doug Doucette fifth, Eric Elkin sixth, Carlos Lopez seventh, Steve Kubay eighth, Lincoln Russell ninth position, Dustin Burkhalter in 10th, Brandon Piper 11th, Troy Banks 12th, Kent Kruger in 13th, Andrew Rasmussen 14th, Bjorn Benches 15th, and Jay Kreiderman scored in 16th position. And everybody's having fun now. That's how they do it here at Apex this iRacing League. We hope you enjoyed the race here. Thanks for coming out for the round number 10 here at Le Mans with the Supercars and the RUF cars with the Apex this iRacing League. If you enjoyed the race, please hit that like button and don't forget to share it and subscribe so you'll know the next time we go live. For all of us here at Rice Motorsports TV, we want to wish you a happy evening.